Okay, greetings, brothers and sisters. So it happened, the Dooooji birthday celebration with Chargy. I had a wonderful gathering. It rained here. It was raining the whole time, and which is a auspicious divine grace falling from the heavens. Chargy's birthday, and the last sitting was like 18 minutes straight transmission, and just I feel like the effects of this gathering are going to be unfolding. Like I'm covering that on today's Thursday, July 25th. The last sitting was just at 9 o'clock. And so, I don't really feel like covering this thing, but have to because it's the ultimate in the dodgy putting the last nail in his coffin because this is an epic fail on his part. And so he boxed himself in. And I said this, I know when people are screwing themselves, right, when they are doing something epically stupid. And so in 2023 at Dooooji birthday celebration of the Basant birthday celebration, Dodgy dropped this load of shit, right? We have been celebrating 4 Bandaras per year. You are easily spending 45 days if you have to attend 4 Bandaras. And on top of that, if you make additional visits now and then to Kana, it is a bit too much. I've been pondering over it during the lifetime of our sister Helene Pere. I would request her to communicate to Babaji Maharaj and say, what do we do? There'll be hundreds of masters. Should we celebrate each birthday separately? 400 days, and you do not have 400 days in a year. Like he said, eventually there'd be 400, birthdays. Babaji took a long time answering, and he answered he will get the answer at the right time. And the answer did come a few weeks back. He said divide the year into two, 6 months from January to June 30th, and the 1st of July to 31st, 30 or 31st of December. Whoever is born before the 30th is master, which was a kind of a weird thing to say. We celebrate all those birthdays before June 30th of June on Basant Panchami, which is Babaji's and Lalaji's. Babaji's birthday is 30th of April. Whoever is born 30th will celebrate those birthdays of June Panchami. And later he added, whoever is born before 1st of July and the end of the year, the 28th of September, which is Kamalesh's birthday, which is Master Charji's, of course, which is July 24th. I remarked to Babaji Maharaj, why not later on if the living master is in this segment, it would be appropriate. He said, no, there are many reasons which you will understand that these dates are important. Basant and 28th of September. I did not argue. It is not my habit to argue. And I said, yes, Babaji, it will be done. So this is what I wanted to share with you. Please follow it up. And so, he's saying that he had to be obedient to Babaji, even though this was his idea in the first place, right? And so I knew this was bullshit, like anybody with half a brain would know it's bullshit, because it had been said over and over again, and I'll read the one whispers. Okay, let me see if it's here. Let me pull it back up. Here it is. Thursday, July 23rd, 2015, 10 a.m. So this is the gathering I talked about, the one with the rain. And this is Charji right after he died in 2014 in December. And so this was the very next gathering of his. It took place in Tirvalur, which is a property of 100 acres that he purchased for big gatherings. And then, of course, they built the monstrosity there. And, it's a nice place. I don't want to, say bad things about Kana, but, they already had these other places. The birthday anniversaries of the masters are very important moments in our mission. These truly special days are the vectors of specific transmission capable of strongly touching the sensitive points of the aspirant. The synergy of these different points of emissions create a very subtle force whose action is efficient. Many of our brothers and sisters feel they are in osmosis with us, involved as they are in this unusual process that fosters each person's receptivity. It's not easy to understand or even explain all the action involved in these sensitive points of the being. What matters is to surrender oneself to this unusual action and to set aside during these blessed days enough time and space to simply become one with this special vibration, capable of performing such beautiful things. Henceforth, 4 special days in a year will gladden the hearts of our fervent aspirants when we grant them all possible attention. We take advantage of these special moments to transmit even more the best that is possible in such circumstances. Rest assured, everything has its purpose. Everything has its purpose. These special days will always have to be honored, not only out of respect of the love of the masters, but also for the Abhyasis who receive much more than he or she can perceive. Such are the mysteries of spiritual life. It deserves all possible attention as well as sincere and constant commitment. Very special blessings, Babaji Maharaj. And so, it's interesting that he gave this message on Charji's first birthday after he passed away, because he knew that Dooooji was going to pull this shit, right? And Dooooji immediately tried to cancel these things, and he has been against the gatherings. He canceled them for COVID. He canceled them to build when the ashram wasn't completely finished. He was always looking for excuses. And the number one gathering he loved to cancel was Charji. He really didn't have a Charji birthday gathering, and he didn't like celebrating Charji's birth because whatever, pricky little, bitchy little thing he's got going on there with Charji, right? The very next year he would say, before Charji's birthday, boss, I've become better than you. He thought he was better than Charji, which is a complete joke, and nobody, but him would ever believe that, right? And so, when he put out this message that he said he got from Babaji, this was his biggest failure. This is his biggest betrayal, because he was inevitably going to have to disobey this. So now he has this message out there. They said, Babaji said, let's celebrate these gatherings only twice a year. And I knew, and probably anybody else with half a brain knew, that people were going to come anyway because they love Charji. There's still, most of the Abhyasis are Charji Abhyasis who started with Charji, and they weren't going to listen to this. Most of them don't even pay attention to this MNFer anyway. And so they were going to show up, which they did. So they had to have Babaji's birthday gathering in 2023 when he first made this announcement, right? I've gone over this over and over again. And I said the following year, this year, when he celebrated Charji's birthday, he would be in complete violation of Babaji's dictate, right? And so he said this bullshit thing, right? It was not a real message. And it also compromises Whispers. It makes Whispers into a joke because he's not obeying Babaji's Whispers message, and it makes Dooooji into a joke. The whole thing is epic and huge. And so he had to celebrate Charji's birthday in 2023 because people descended on the ashram. And 4 days before the gathering that they weren't going to have, they put out an announcement saying they were going to have the gathering anyway. And then Dooooji gave 5 sittings and sulked. He didn't say a word. He just came and gave a sitting. It was just like, him sitting there sulking with a little bitch-ass expression on his face because the people just descended on the ashram and made him do his job, which was to celebrate his master's birthday. That's unthinkable. I can't even believe that people are still, they're not, marching on this guy, with pitchforks and things for his blasphemy, right? All these supposed Charji lovers. And so I knew that this birthday coming up in 2024 would be the big one. And then it came out that he was going to celebrate Babaji's birthday because it's Babaji's 125th anniversary. So they weren't going to celebrate Lalaji's and Babaji at the same time. And so he had to celebrate Charji's, which meant he was in full violation of this imaginary Whispers message he gave. So he's either disobeying Babaji or he is lying about getting a Whispers message. And it just makes him look like a complete putz and like just a fool and just a piece of shit, right? Just horrible person. Beyond being a master, we all want to celebrate these gatherings. He tried to get rid of it. And that's when I say I'm done. I'm not, I'm disconnecting from this guy. This guy's just a complete liar and a fraud, and I don't want any part of this. And I experienced a divine transmission directly on Lalaji's birthday that was like something I hadn't felt in 2 years because I separated myself from Dooooji, this thing. And as soon as I did that, my practice blossomed and I started, doing Saj Marg and what we call Gratefullness. And we all been doing that together. Some of us, I guess it started off with a couple hundred people. I don't know what it is now. Probably, still like 50 people do it. Well, some people come and go. I don't know. At least I'm doing it, right? Like for me, it's been a blessing. And I put up the Gratefulness meditation channel, which has all the ways that people can do Sajmarg without having to deal with the heartfulness cult. But, like it's Dooooji's done. Like there's nothing more to say about him. Like I'm just not, unless there's some big news that the Dooooji Truther or somebody tells me about. I don't feel like the need to say anything more because Dooooji's, there's no turning back what he did here. Like the foolishness, the incompetence, just the criminality. The words, disrespect, the ingratitude more than anything else of Chargy, all that Chargy did for him. So I went and looked at the gathering. He only did 4 sittings for Chargy's birthday. It's usually 6, and he did 2 sessions for his birthday, for his own birthday, and 2 sessions for Babaji's. And I don't know about Lalaji, maybe even 2 sessions for Lalaji. And so they had, ended up having 12 sittings, right? They had 2 separate gatherings for his own birthday for Dooooji's, but only 4 sittings for Chargy. They had a bunch of crappy music. It was particularly offensive. And they re-released Heartfulness Way and a book of all these messages. So I looked at the message. They sent an email with the message from Dooooji on Chargy's birthday. And the only 2 places it says Chargy is at the beginning of the message in the title and at the end in a little box on the side saying what the message is. So he doesn't even mention Chargy in his message. I started to listen to his crappy talk. He mentioned Babaji's name once, but never Chargy. And so I had been saying that they never re-released Chargy's books, and they didn't do that. But they did have some of Chargy's books that are now, on Heartfulness Life, like some leftover books. And they brought attention to that. They had that guy who used to be the president of India, who's a long-standing Abhyasi, who's, a politician. Seems like a nice guy. But he's going around along with this Dooooji debacle. And so Dooooji just shit the bed on this, right? And there's one more thing I'm going to just briefly cover here. So the Dooooji Truther sent this to me. It's a long bunch of stuff here. But it starts off with an announcement here where it says, let's see, it's long stuff here. Dear brothers and sisters, there's an important project ideated by and guided by Reverend Dooooji, about which information doesn't seem to have reached some of our members. Things have been moving at a pace on this project. We're greatly appreciated if you can take a moment and go through the below message and also share this with others who may be interested. So they sent this out, I guess, to preceptors. Dear ones, we have witnessed firsthand the vision of masters and the progress being made by Heartfulness in several fronts. Beloved Dooooji, being the visionary that he is, embarked on another milestone project, the area of agriculture and agroforestry, that aims to demonstrate that agriculture can be both sustainable and profitable. The success created here will be a model pointedly replicated everywhere else, creating impact at multiple levels. The project, in a couple of words that I can't pronounce in India, the opportunity to come together collectively and take ownership of a lush green farm and spanning 1,100 acres in Tiruvallur, TN. This, and I'm not pronouncing, it's not Tiruvallur, it's like Tiruvallur, with a TH. The single parcel of land has 20 feet below ground drip irrigation laid out across 90 acres of mango, coconut, guava, chiku, and other fruit trees. This property is fully fenced and has 56 kilometers of internal roads, has a guest house and the infrastructure for a school and a juice factory. The enterprise will be professionally run private limited company to manage this property. 2,200 shares are being offered in this company, and Abhyasis may buy 1 to 10 shares of this company. Each share is being offered at 10 lakh rupees, The opportunity is not just to buy a share of this company, but to contribute to the vision and the impact that this world-class project is being set up to deliver for the world and shareholders. Let us connect for more details via the Google form shared in the brochure. And there is a form here. Now, I read that, and, of course I knew Dooooji Truther sent it to me, so I knew it was some kind of, he felt it was something scammy. But doesn't it sound like a real Ponzi scheme? I mean, total Ponzi scheme. Like, and I'm aware of these, pyramid schemes where there's, they pretend there's a material thing, but it's really just a pyramid or Ponzi scheme. And sure enough, as I scrolled through it, it says, reminds me of the fraud plantation scam Ponzi schemes, which seem so gullible, lost big money, buying shares and get rich schemes. And so people, so this guy, Dooooji Truther, wrote that. And they sent an article here. So there's a Times of India article that says, so much crap on these things. It says, hundreds of thousands of hundreds lost money in tree plantation scheme in the state. We would plant a tree with your fund and we'll sell its timber after 15 years so that you would get more than 100 times your investment, it says in the advertisement. Want to grow money on trees? Literally, come and invest. We will plant a tree with your fund and sell its timber after 15 years. So this was something that they did, these plantations. And it sounds a little bit similar. And so, Dooooji, you can't give the guy the benefit of doubt. I'm not going to say anything more about this, but, I mean, it's just, there's a bunch of these things, defraud depositors of more than 400 core, 18 billion or US 220 million through Ponzi schemes. $220 million of Ponzi schemes. There's a bunch of articles, wood plantation fraud, all these things. And so I guess they were planting these teak trees. And so, I don't care what, Dooooji's done enough already, and I'm just throwing this out there as one extra thing, right? Just another example of Dooooji being a piece of shit and a fraud. But the big thing is trying to cancel his master's birthday over and over and failing and embarrassing himself. And it's just, it's just so dodgy. But anyways, just hopefully I don't have to cover this anymore. I have so much low energy on this thing. Like, it's just, there's nothing more to say because all the people that are going along with this suck, right? It's there for them to see. Like, none of them remember Dooooji saying this shit about making the gatherings into, celebrating two birthdays into one. And he gave it a half-hearted try with Charji. He never tried it with Babaji and Lalaji. And people weren't having it. And they just disobeyed his fake message. He's done this before, which is the stuff I've talked about with the, that other guy, whatever his name was. Dooooji, when he said Dooooji merged in him. He's just an out-and-out fraud, and they're never going to face up to it, the Abhiasis. They're going to go along with it. It's, whatever, nothing can be done. So, but I can move on, which I have. And hopefully for me, this will be the last. I don't need to watch any more Heartfulness videos and any of their fake shit they're doing. I looked at their channel and they had a video that had 80,000 views and 7 comments. Like, it's just, it's pathetic. But anyways, that's it for me for this thing. And I'm grateful it's over. Like, I don't have to pay attention to him or them or whatever. Only spirituality will save this world. It's Paul Romano, definitely pointing for the apocalypse and the ascension. Everyone have a blessed day and be grateful.